In 1903, just a few years after the United States took over the Philippines, the Americans chose a place up in the mountains of northern Luzon as the Philippines' winter capital. They moved government operations into Baguio City each summer in order to escape Manila's summer heat. More than 100 years from that declaration, still, Baguio City sits on that throne of distinction as the Philippines' perfect getaway from the piercing sun. Today, on My Destination, we'll take you around the undisputed summer, the capital of the Philippines, that really has more than just its cool weather to offer. Hi, I'm Borja. Join us.
Baguio, one of the most famous cities in the Philippines. Also known as the City of Pines, it is a favorite destination for its pine-scented air, history, and vibrant tourism sites that are as different as its ethnically diverse culture. Once the playground and favorite vacation spot of the Americans who built this city in the 1900s, now everybody's playground as the celebrated summer capital of the Philippines. Hi, I'm Rosemarie Borromeo, and we're taking you on a short trip down history lane on My Destination.
To become ultra successful, you have to be aligned with something bigger than yourself. The International Marketing Group offers a proven, duplicatable business format system. Our vision is to lead the investment revolution. Our mission is to create wealth for families. There are two ways to accomplish our mission. First, take advantage of our opportunity and build a business of your own. And second, use our financial concepts and products. For the right person, IMG is the greatest opportunity in the world.
The winner is always a part of the answer. The loser is always a part of the problem. The winner always has a problem. The loser always has an excuse. The winner says, "Let me do it for you." The loser says, "It's not my job." The winner sees an answer for every problem. The loser always sees a problem for every answer. The winner says, "It might be difficult, but it is possible." The loser says, "It might be possible, but it is difficult." The winner listens. The loser waits until it is his turn to talk. When the winner makes a mistake, he says, "I was wrong." When the loser makes a mistake, he says, "It's not my fault." The winner says, "I am good, but not as good as I could be." The loser says, "I'm not as bad as other people." The winner feels more responsible for more than his job. The loser says, "I only work there." Are you a winner?
The Filipino culture values closely knit family ties, but it has come to a point where more than 50% of Filipino parents rely too much on their children and other relatives to support them in their old age. To create a paradigm shift in the minds of Filipinos, Kaiser International Health Group has come up with a product that answers the need for financial independence of people faced with feelings of helplessness during their retirement years when they most need medical attention and support. While most HMOs cater to group and individual accounts, Kaiser addresses the long-term healthcare needs of individuals. This is how it works. Kaiser provides a second layer of HMO coverage that gives members the option to use it or not. If a member decides not to use his coverage, in the long run, he will be rewarded for staying healthy and he will be well on his way to a more secure and comfortable elderly life. It's pretty simple. No worries. Kaiser International Health Group has you covered. Kaiser International Health Group, doing its share to move the Philippines into economic recovery and independence. For inquiries, call these numbers.
Philippine Military Academy, PMA. For more than 100 years, the training ground for officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Its home, Baguio City. PMA cadets are just a tiny fraction of the city's young population. In Baguio, almost half of its 400,000 people is comprised of students. Many come from nearby provinces, while foreign students also add to the diversity. The 8 major universities and colleges across Baguio make the city a university town and the center of education for the whole of northern Luzon. The considerable presence of young people in Baguio is also explained by the city's thriving BPO industry. This is Session Road. In American colonial times, the site of the Philippine Commission's first session. Session Road is Baguio City's main thoroughfare and central business district. A variety of shops, stores, restaurants, banks and offices line each side of the road. As I'm walking downhill, I get a peek of Baguio's youth majority. Alongside tourists and visitors, students from the different Baguio schools and universities take a leisurely stroll. The busy hill, the temperate climate, and the delightful smell of pine trees even before you can see them give Baguio a distinct flavor, different from other cities in the Philippines. Baguio City is nestled in the bosom of the province of Benguet. It is the main entry point to the Cordillera Administrative Region. High in the Cordillera mountain ranges, the city was built by American colonizers as a mountain getaway when heat and dust in the lowlands became unbearable. And so, at the site of an Ibaloy village known as Cafaguay in the early 1900s, Baguio City was born. Its name derived from the Ibaloy word Baguio, meaning moss, as moss grows abundantly in Baguio's pine forests. What drew American colonizers to Baguio continues to attract present generations of Filipinos and foreigners. Baguio is now a city of migrants. It is the week of the APEC Leaders Conference in Manila, and people are raring to take advantage of the long holiday to avoid heavy traffic in the Philippine capital during the 4-day summit. Thousands flock to Baguio, and hotels are booked solid for a week. As we start our final ascent to the city of pines, the clean smell of the air in its pine-clad mountains greets us. We're checking news advisories on the web. We're told the huge volume of vehicles arriving on APEC week will cause heavy traffic on roads leading to the city's tourist spots. Tourism is a major industry in Baguio. Its hotels, golf courses, restaurants, night spots, shops, parks, and other tourist-oriented industries cater to a continuous influx of local and international tourists. The city is also a major retail center for the Cordilleras and Ilocos provinces. A lovely stroll down Session Road takes me to this row of thrift shops, a place famous with bargain hunters.
Binibili mo for yourself or may binibilhan ka?
For myself, for my children. Kasi dito magaganda na.
Yung mga anak mo pumupunta din dito, namimili rin?
Hindi. Ako taga-pili.
Tapos sila taga-suot.
Oo.
Ano yung pinakamabenta niya dito sa Credit?
Lahat na. Lahat may mga magbentang blouses, pants, ganyan.
Magkano yung mga presyo niya sa mga blouses at pants?
Hindi po parehas.
Ano yung pinakamura?
250,
250. Tapos yung pinakamahal?
480.
480. Sa mga selections ng blouses tsaka shorts.
Oo.
Taxis and jeepneys are the major means of transportation in the city. A cab takes me to this place, where I see a long line of people still waiting to be seated. Dining is fun in Baguio, with a lot of restaurants offering the best in northern Philippine cooking. Up next, Borja visits Baguio's oldest destination, Camp John Hay.
So in this house, Yamashita surrendered in this house.
Yeah.
My destination takes you to a cruise with the IMG family.
We're now having dinner with the IMG family inside the Silk Room on board the largest cruise ship in the world. And the food is superb.
Strike a pose.
Camp John Hay, one of Baguio City's major tourism and recreation attractions. Established in 1903 as an American military reservation, the 690-hectare property was named after then U.S. Secretary of State John Milton Hay. It was a major hill station used for rest and recreation by personnel and dependents of the United States Armed Forces in the Philippines and the U.S. Defense Department. Designed for the exclusive use of the U.S. military and Department of Defense in the Far East, Camp John Hay drew Japanese warplanes on December 7, 1941, 5 hours after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. As soon as World War II ignited, invading Japanese forces used the U.S. facility as a concentration camp for American and British soldiers. Toward the end of the Japanese occupation of the Philippines, it was also used as the Japanese military headquarters when General Tomoyuki Yamashita moved up north from Manila.
May story trail kasi tayo dito.
At the heart of Camp John Hay is the historical core, where you can find much of the camp's history, such as the Bell House, named after U.S. Commanding General Franklin Bell.
Ito yung driveway kanina going to the Bell House.
So ito naman.
So from the entrance gate to here. So itong smaller model ng Camp John Hay.
Historical.
Yeah.
Once the official vacation residence of U.S. generals assigned in the Far East, Bell House is now a museum that shows American colonial architecture. The Bell House, the Bell Amphitheater right across the house, the Liberty Loop, the Cemetery of Negativism, Secret Garden, History Trail, and the Panagbenga Flower and Totem Pole create a fascinating tour around the camp. I'm with Engineer Vic Lagria, Business Development Officer of John Hay Management Corporation. Right now, how do you benefit from the tourists that are coming in within the Camp John Hay Development Corporation?
We're very glad that there are so many activities right now in the camp. Like for example, we have the PMSEIAC conference right now, the Philippine Mining Safety and Environment Conference. And for the coming weeks, we have more activities or events here at the camp. So, like for example, here at the Bell House, we're in the Bell House, wherein this is a heritage site. In sales itself, we're gaining almost 30,000 for in one day. So, and not only that, all our locators are benefiting from the influx of tourists. So, like I know our locators, our business entities here are very happy with that.
So right now, tourists coming over in the whole John Hay Development Corporation can see this Bell House. Is this a museum or something like a function area?
Both.
Okay.
Actually, the purpose is it's open for public. They have to pass through with our ticketing booth through a minimal entrance fee, wherein it serves as a museum for what transpired during the American and Japanese time here at the camp. But simultaneously, some of the rooms and were noticed earlier, the dining area where the signing of Yamashita surrendered here.
So in this house, Yamashita surrendered in this house.
Yeah.
What are other things that anybody would expect in this area?
Yeah, in this area also, we call this a historical core.
Okay.
And this is the Bell House. We have also the Bell Amphitheater down. That's for weddings. We book for weddings throughout the year. So we have almost, right now, we're averaging 10 bookings, 10 weddings a month.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you, sir. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today, after more than a century, John Hay's historical backbone, accompanied by a world-class golf course, hotels, adventure rides, restaurants, quaint cottages, and outlet stores along the camp's tree-lined roads and beautiful landscapes make the former American R&R facility a tourist destination in itself.
So you're really not up for a competition with John Hayes. It's more or less like a symbiotic relationship.
How money works. When it comes to finances, how much do you know? If you're like most people, you probably know little about personal finance. Perhaps you think long-term security is impossible on your income. But the truth is, no matter what your income level, you can achieve financial security. You just take the time to learn a few simple principles about how money works. Financial education is for everyone. IMG is about education. We believe that there are no secrets to financial security. And financial education isn't just for wealthy. IMG's goal is to educate hardworking families, just like you, on simple concepts that can change your financial future forever. Do you know when you need life insurance the most? How about saving for retirement? Do you know how much something really costs when you put it on your credit card? Taking a few moments to learn some simple concepts about how money works can save you from financial headaches later.
The Filipino culture values closely knit family ties, but it has come to a point where more than 50% of Filipino parents rely too much on their children and other relatives to support them in their old age. To create a paradigm shift in the minds of Filipinos, Kaiser International Health Group has come up with a product that answers the need for financial independence of people faced with feelings of helplessness during their retirement years when they most need medical attention and support. While most HMOs cater to group and individual accounts, Kaiser addresses the long-term healthcare needs of individuals. This is how it works. Kaiser provides a second layer of HMO coverage that gives members the option to use it or not. If a member decides not to use his coverage, in the long run, he will be rewarded for staying healthy and he will be well on his way to a more secure and comfortable elderly life. It's pretty simple. No worries. Kaiser International Health Group has you covered. Kaiser International Health Group, doing its share to move the Philippines into economic recovery and independence. For inquiries, call these numbers.
Meet the Optics Task Force. Our engineers will stop at nothing to prove the Transition's extra active lenses protect from more types of light, like the brightest sun. In harsh artificial light, even while behind the windshield of a car. Extra protection from light wherever you are. Outdoors, indoors, and in the car.
They say the secret of being wealthy is learning how to save, no matter how small or minimal they may be. In the long run, it can be worth a fortune. Don't know how? Worry not. Here's some tips to help you save up. How many times have you been tempted to buy those expensive magazines because of its cover and end up disappointed by their lack of substance? Why not read them in a library, or better yet, online, as most mags now offer their contents for free on the net. But if you can't resist the urge to get hold of your favorite must-read glossies, you better subscribe. Subscriptions offer substantial savings over the cost at the newsstand. Another money-saving tip brought to you by IMG, International Marketing Group.
Located at Camp John Hay is the Baguio Country Club Hotel, a rest and recreational facility with an 18-hole golf course. The club has an immensely rich history of more than 100 years and is set close to several tourist attractions and commercial establishments. Founded in 1905 by U.S. Governor General William Cameron Forbes, Baguio Country Club has stood the test of time as it continues to attract the most notable names in Philippine society as one of the most respected membership clubs in the country.
Kasi in other areas.
I spoke with Andrew Pinero of the Hotel and Restaurant Association of Baguio.
You're the corporate communications manager for the Baguio City Country Club. How is tourism this side of Baguio?
Well, we are having record-breaking arrivals of tourists for the past 3 years, and we are really thrilled to have the Tarlac-Pangasinan La Union Expressway completed, because somehow it has played a big role in bringing in a lot of tourists here in the city of Baguio. Accessibility is one factor that tourists would always take into consideration before going into a certain place, and with the lesser travel time from Manila to Baguio, somehow attracted more people to come up here in the city of Baguio. The idea of leaving Manila in the morning, having lunch here in the city of Baguio, and then go back to Manila and watch their evening news is something that people has experienced because of the T-Plex. So once it reaches its final construction or phase, which is the La Union area at Rosario, then we're expecting more people to come up here in the city of Baguio.
Tourists, golfers particularly, come up to Baguio. They either go to Camp John Hay or Baguio City Country Club. How does this compare with Camp John Hay?
Well, we have, of course, activities that are tied up with Camp John Hay. We have tournaments that we both host. For example, the largest and longest running amateur golf tournament in the world, which is what's happening right now. It's the Philam Golf Tournament. It attracts 1,200 golfers from all across the Asia-Pacific region, and they're here in the city of Pines for 2 weeks of competitive and friendly golf. Now, in terms of attracting golfers separately, our courses are designed differently. Ours is shorter but narrower. Theirs is longer but wider. So they're par 72 or par 61. Accuracy is more or less challenged in our course, while for Camp John Hay, it is more of power. So the golfers would definitely want to try both courses because it would test their skills in both power and precision if they try both courses.
So you're really not up for competition with John Hay. It's more or less like a symbiotic relationship.
It is a symbiotic existence, and we want to work together. In fact, having Camp John Hay has more or less challenged our staff here at Baguio Country Club to improve better our golf course and make it even more competitive throughout the country.
Being born and raised here, can you tell us more or less how Baguio has evolved from being called the winter capital during the American colonial period to having gained its reputation as a summer capital in the Philippines?
Well, the temperatures here in Baguio is quite different from any other place here in the Philippines. You add the natural beauty of its environment. It kind of reminds people, especially those coming from abroad, of what it's like in their home. So it gets a homey feeling for tourists and visitors alike who come here. And also, being born and raised here, there are also some changes that has happened. In the past, we would wear jackets when the months of October come, but nowadays temperatures are not really that cold anymore, although it's still a welcome idea for people trying to escape the heat in other areas of the country.
When I arrived in Baguio, every time I'm here, I'm always struck by the different ethnicities that I find in Baguio and the diverse culture. Can you talk more about how you're able to coexist and how you're able to develop a culture that is really one as a people? How have you managed to do that?
Well, that's very true. Baguio City has become much of a melting pot of different cultures and ethnicities. We have the Pangasinenses, we have the Ilocanos, we have even brothers from Mindanao here, even from the Visayas. A good number of them also are here, Batangueños, Tagalogs, everybody's here. And of course the Cordillerans, knowing that they're very hospitable and they're easy to deal with, always embrace them as part of the community. Baguio City is known to be a place for Ibaloys, and Ibaloys always exude this warmth in terms of friendship and hospitality. So it really is no problem for us Ibaloys and real original people here in the city of Baguio to coexist with others. If they find Baguio City their home and they embrace it, we welcome them.
How would you quantify the number of talagang ethnic tribal groups that are still here versus the migrants?
Well, the city was designed for 20,000 people during the early American times, and now it has swelled to more than 400,000 residents. That's during the nighttime, and it increases during the daytime because of transient people coming in and out of the city of Baguio. There's still a significant number of Cordillerans in the city of Baguio. They show their strength every elections. So it still is a group to reckon with. 60% are still a majority Cordillerans here in the city of Baguio, and the other 40% is divided into the different ethnic groups from the country.
So the ethnic majority still rules when it comes to election time. You always vote for nagbablock. Do you vote as a block or di naman?
Well, there's this thing they call the Highland vote. So the Highland vote is much touted. So if you're a candidate here in the city of Baguio and you have a Cordilleran blood, it kind of ensures you that you have a huge number of voters that will vote for you. Very rare that we have a lowlander who would really take a seat in a leading position here in the city of Baguio. Take for instance, Honorable Mayor Mauricio Dumogan is a Cordilleran. His congressman, of course, Nicasio Aliping, is also a Cordilleran. Although there are times that there are lowlanders who take positions, like in the past, Jun Labo, who is a Pangasinense, and of course our former Congressman Bernardo Vergara, who is an Ilocano from La Union. They have won in the elections because they have touched the hearts somehow of the Cordillerans, and they were embraced and adopted as their own.
As a growing metropolis, what kind of problems do you see now in Baguio?
Well, of course, the water resource is slowly being depleted. Number two is the natural beauty of Baguio is based on the widespread of the Benguet pine, the pine trees. We have lesser pine trees now in the city. Third is the weather. We have now warmer temperatures than in the past because I think of the huge number of people here in the city of Baguio. Another thing is traffic. The city has transformed also into a concrete jungle. But we believe that there's still a lot that we can do to bring back, not bring back totally what Baguio was before, but to more or less slow down the very fast pace of, should I say, development in the city of Baguio. That's going into the neighboring communities like the Bliss, that's La Trinidad, Itogon, Sablan, Tuba, and Tublay. These are the neighbors of the city of Baguio. We want to decongest the city and bring people to this nearby area. So we want development to be spread out so that not everything is concentrated here in the city of Baguio.
Finally, as a very proud Cordilleran, how would you describe, let us say that 20 years from now, and both of us are still blessed to be around, and I'm talking to you, how would you want to describe Baguio by then?
Well, 20 years from now, I see Baguio as still a home for hospitable, friendly people, and living in a place where it's peaceful, temperatures still within the acceptable range, and at the same time still green and clean. So that's how I see Baguio, because I feel that our leaders, together with the community, are slowly realizing that we should put our acts together to enjoy the city even longer.
How optimistic are you, or that Baguio is going to be that way in 20 years?
Well, with the active participation of the private sector and the support of the local government, I am positive that the actions that needs to be taken to preserve the beauty of Baguio has already started and will continue. I think the key there is to continue working together, the private sector and the local government, so that our children and their children's children will still enjoy living here in the summer capital of the Philippines.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank
it was
you.
very nice talking to you.
Thank you very much.
The Filipino culture values closely knit family ties, but it has come to a point where more than 50% of Filipino parents rely too much on their children and other relatives to support them in their old age. To create a paradigm shift in the minds of Filipinos, Kaiser International Health Group has come up with a product that answers the need for financial independence of people faced with feelings of helplessness during their retirement years when they most need medical attention and support. While most HMOs cater to group and individual accounts, Kaiser addresses the long-term healthcare needs of individuals. This is how it works. Kaiser provides a second layer of HMO coverage that gives members the option to use it or not. If a member decides not to use his coverage, in the long run, he will be rewarded for staying healthy and he will be well on his way to a more secure and comfortable elderly life. It's pretty simple. No worries. Kaiser International Health Group has you covered. Kaiser International Health Group, doing its share to move the Philippines into economic recovery and independence. For inquiries, call these numbers.
The theory of decreasing responsibility explains how your life insurance needs change over time. In the early years, you may need a lot of life insurance coverage, but in the later years, you may not. In the early years, when you're younger, you don't have a lot of money, but in the later years, you'd better have money. How does this fit with your insurance needs? Today, when you're young, loss of income due to a premature death would be devastating. Your children are young and you might have high debt and a house mortgage. Your need for insurance is highest at this time. When you get older, retirement income is needed. Your children are grown, your debts are lower, and your mortgage is paid. If you have savings, you are self-insured, diminishing your needs for insurance. That's the theory of decreasing responsibility. By having life insurance when your financial responsibilities are the greatest, you can have peace of mind knowing your family's future is protected.
Be kind to your eyes with Transitions lenses. Transitions adapt to changing light while protecting your eyes from glare and UV.
The Panagbenga Flower Festival, created in 1995, was a way for Baguio City to rise from the devastation of a 7.8 magnitude earthquake in 1990. The month-long festival each February shows the rich cultural heritage of Baguio City and the Cordillera region, as colorful parades are held to celebrate nature's bounty. Panagbenga is popular with visitors, with the festival's display of flower-inspired costumes and floats. The floral float parade and street dances are a visual feast. For tourists, the blast of colors in Panagbenga creates new memories of Baguio. As for me, this is where my memories lie. Burnham Park. Centered around a man-made lake, Burnham Park is a personal favorite for bringing back childhood memories of riding a bike for the first time and rowing a boat such as this.
Dahil sa IPEC, pagkakataon na makapagbakasyon. So far, crowded na siya compared dati, pero malamig pa rin. So we're here, so we can share the memories that we have since childhood to our children right now. So we can pass on the beautiful memories.
Each Baguio visitor has a story to tell of family outings, strawberry farms, shopping, parades, and adventures. High in the Cordilleras, a mountain retreat, a summer capital, a dream travel destination. This has been Rosemarie Borromeo.
This is Borja. Join us again next time